right before the start of free agency, we have a trade between the Atlanta Hawks, who are giving away Dejounte Murray to the New Orleans Pelicans for Larry Nance, Dyson Daniels, and 2 first-round picks, a 2025 and a 2027. Now, here's what's interesting. Dejounte Murray got traded from San Antonio to Atlanta just 2 years ago in hopes to pair with Trae Young and try to make things happen, but they did not have any success as they got eliminated in the first round the first year together, and just last season, they did not make it to the playoffs at all. And during their time together, they've been very mediocre. It seems like they really couldn't get things going. And once the season ended, it was bound to happen. One of those two was very likely to be traded, whether it was going to be Orlando, San Antonio, but eventually it was New Orleans. And now they have a lineup featuring Dejounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Jonas Valanciunas. Now, another surprising part about this is that the trade rumors of Dejounte Murray going to New Orleans started to pick things up, but the return for Atlanta featured Brandon Ingram. And the main reason why is because Ingram's entering the final year of his deal, and he is not getting an extension that he is seeking, as New Orleans is not willing to give him a max deal. But he is still a part of the team despite the Dejounte Murray trade. Whereas the Pelicans, they made it to the playoffs, barely getting in as they were the 8th seed, but they got swept by the #1 team in OKC Thunder. However, they did not have Zion Williamson, and they were in a similar situation as Atlanta because they were just in the middle of the pack, going nowhere. If they did make the playoffs, they were getting eliminated in the first round. And Atlanta, they took a step back, whereas New Orleans, they took a step forward, being more aggressive in the Western Conference. And the final thing to note is that the Pelicans, they still want to build around Zion Williamson and CJ McCollum, and they did not have a guy that could close things out, as they were 0-24 when trailing entering the fourth quarter, along with being 2-14 in close games. And they viewed Dejounte Murray as that closeout player, a guy they can rely on in the clutch, along with his ability to be a two-way player. And on top of that, they still want to keep Brandon Ingram long-term, so they're trying to find a middle ground on finding the right contract between both sides. So New Orleans, they're being more aggressive. Atlanta, they're taking a step back. They did have the #1 overall pick. There was thoughts that they could trade that away and go after another all-star caliber player. Instead, they kept the pick. They traded away Dejounte Murray, so there's a possibility they could trade away Trae Young as well and go into full rebuild mode. And next year, Trae Young is going to be due for another max deal, so it will be interesting to see as to whether or not the team decides to keep him. If not, go into rebuild mode. That's all for now, you guys. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with others, as I'll see you guys next time.